Welcome, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Athena Paquette-Cormier with the League of Women Voters. I'm the moderator this evening. So we're going to start our opening two-minute opening statements then with Mr. Charles Thomas.
My name is Charles Thomas, and I'm the next council member for District 1, Carson City Council. First off, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters, Torrance, for the opportunity to share the details about my candidacy. First, a little bit about me. I'm the product of LAUSD. I have a bachelor's in law degree from UC Berkeley. I also have an MBA from USC. After school, I worked in commercial real estate transactions, first at a law firm, and then at JP Morgan Chase Bank. During my 6 years at the bank, I closed over $1 billion in commercial loans each year. Then the financial crisis hit. I quickly transitioned to academia. I have been at California State University, Dominguez Hills since 2009, where I'm a tenured faculty member in business law. I'm a proud union member, California Faculty Association. While at CSUDH, I've been a leader and an outgoing chair of the Academic Senate, elected by all faculty on campus. I've also been very active in the Carson community, where I've lived since 2004. I live in Dominguez Hills Village, right across from the campus, and I have served as the president of the Homeowners Association. I've also was appointed to the Planning Commission for the City of Carson, where I served from 2015 to 2018. Now that I've covered me, allow me to share the reason for my candidacy. During my time on Planning Commission, we took on significant issues like the oil ordinance. However, the Planning Commission is only advisory. The true decisions are made by the City Council. This told me I needed to consider running for City Council if I wanted to truly effectuate change in the city. The other issue of note was the massive apartment developments in the city. The rents for these projects essentially tell the current residents of Carson that they are not part of the future if they don't increase their incomes dramatically. Due to my extensive experience in real estate, development, and finance, I believe I have a unique skill set to offer the city of Carson as we are at a crossroads between our industrial, oil, and our logistics past and our residential and retail future. We need tools to ensure that development is not merely here to attract migration of residents from further west and dislocating our residents from locations further east. At this point, I will move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we are ready for our questions now. And first question is, what is the best way to handle Carson's homeless population? What types of outreach programs are in place and run by the city? How would you improve those programs?
Thank you so much, Athena, for the question. I will tell you that in addition to the mental health issues that are part of the homeless problem, we also know the solution to homelessness, and that is actual housing. And my friend, my colleague that I went to law school with is at the Inner City Law Center, and he's been a champion as it relates to actually providing housing. There was a study done 5 years ago with the 100 most vulnerable homeless and giving them housing without any conditions whatsoever. And the results of that study are remarkable. You can also see the same studies being done in Salt Lake City and other cities. I will also point out that Measure H is just the money portion of it, as we see that there's very difficulty in actually building transitional housing because we get resistance from communities as diverse as, let's just say, Venice as an example. Last but not least, I just want to point out that housing policy is an important part of this because that is what ultimately drives homelessness. And I have a vision for smart growth, and I have plans to implement them. And this city needs what I will call inclusive zoning policy. In a few words, sorry.
Thank you, sir.
I can't see you, by the way, because someone took me off of the other Zoom. If I could possibly get back on, that would be fantastic.
Oh, you were signed on twice, so it was distracting. And so you can't see the timer, lady?
I can't see the timer. I can't see anyone based upon the view I'm in right now. Just cut me off. I'll be fine.
Okay. So next. So the next question, I hear a lot of concerns about keeping Carson safe. What do you think are the safety issues for our city? Do you have a solution for Carson's gang situation?
I want to start off by saying that I'm going to contrast the answers here and say that I don't view this so much as a public safety problem with drugs, but rather a public health problem. Addiction is a public health problem. It is not a criminal problem. And at the end of the day, when you bring the force of criminality, all you do is continue to oppress people and push them further toward that addiction. I would also tell you, as it relates to quote unquote gangs, that again, partnership for youth, I'm going to echo those same comments, but I'm also going to tell you that as an educator, I spend my life in terms of actually directing students, and the students that I teach at California State University Dominguez Hills are poised to be the models for change. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. How do you feel about the transportation options currently available in Carson? Do we have enough options? If not, what will you do to increase those options?
Thank you again, Athena. I want to first start off by saying that ride sharing for my largely senior citizen community is inadequate because most of them don't have the smartphones necessary to engage in in those very apps necessary for ride sharing. I want to point out that we are close to metro lines. We are a part of transit hubs, but we do have problems with just the transit hub right there at the mall, and we've been trying to work on that for several years. I will also continue to point to the fact that these transit hubs are being used as the basis for our housing explosion, and that housing explosion becomes pretty critical as it speaks to the strains upon our traffic as it currently stands. Last but not least, scooters are downright dangerous, and we need to be very concerned about the nuisance that are being created in cities like Santa Monica and Westwood as it relates to scooters before we go head first into the 23rd century. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How do you think the city should promote economic development?
I want to first start off by saying that there's some low-hanging fruit right here in our backyard within my district, and that's the university. We underutilize the university and the opportunities that are directly available and the partnership opportunities that have been sitting here for some time. The university has its hand extended. And specifically, we're talking about the Innovation Incubator. We have the opportunity for not just students, but actually the larger community to participate. In fact, Ken's Ice Cream is one of the clients of the Innovation Incubator right here in Carson. I'll also speak to the notion of workforce housing, or more specifically, inclusive zoning policy, which in a few words recognizes the charge higher density has on our parks, roads, and infrastructure, and demands that developers contribute in meaningful ways. We currently have no policies or regulations in place in this regard. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. What do you know about ADUs? How can Carson make the process of permits and building more streamlined for homeowners who are not contractors and want to build ADUs on their property?
Again, additional dwelling units is not the panacea for all of our woes in our housing, but it's certainly one component. I would tell you in the South, we already have significant density so that ADUs really don't present themselves as a viable option for many of the homes there because they're pre-war and the density is already significant. In short, what I'm going to continue to point back to is inclusive zoning policy writ large, which again speaks to the fact that we need to balance the need for additional housing while at the same time not allowing developers to run amok within our city. And that is going to be crystal. That's going to be of utmost importance. And that also includes our policies as it relates to ADUs. We need to make sure that we don't have, that is a centric answer relating to the actual community and not on the basis of lobbyists and people who are paying political contributions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Who has endorsed you, and have you received campaign donations from any group, union, or business?
Yes. First, I want to start off by saying that I have been endorsed by Carson Alliance for Truth, as well as the California Faculty Association. And when I say that I am supported by the union, know that not only am I a union member, but all of my signs are union printed. And that means that I not only live union, it's a part of my being. And last but not least, I've received no checks from any corporate entities, one way or the other, including unions. Thank you for the question.
How would you balance the city budget? What are your priorities?
Well, personally, I believe that we need to focus on smart spending and be rather judicious in terms of our spending. I enjoy parties just as much as the next person. However, if you're going to run a party and ultimately or celebration and you're going to run at a deficit, that's not smart. And so what I would encourage people to do would be to, if you still want to have the party, we may need to partner with the business community as it relates to sponsorship to defray or eliminate those costs so that we can still have the party while at the same time not running at a deficit. Thank you again for the question, Athena.
Let's see. Okay. What is the most important issue facing Carson not to do with COVID?
I am going to tell you that beyond the inclusive housing policy, which I've already spoken to, I'm going to tell you the second most important issue, or equally as important, is the mobile home closure issues that are occurring within our city. At the end of the day, mobile homes are, for better or for worse, the last vestige of affordable housing in the South Bay. And as we engage in displacement of these people, we are in essence saying that in order for the growth of our future, we have to disregard our past. And I am not here for that. And so I just want to be crystal clear that the mobile home communities are the communities that matter within my district and within the South Bay. And we need to recognize that they are the last vestiges of affordable housing that exist in the South Bay. Thank you.
Carson residents would like to shop in Carson and not give our tax dollars to surrounding cities when shopping. Carson only has 2 major supermarkets. With all the new housing development in Carson, do you see this as a good time to reach out to Sprouts, Trader Joe's, or something similar?
I guess what I tell you is that this is sort of my lifeblood because I've spent my entire career in commercial real estate finance prior to becoming an academic. And as an academic, this is the area in which I write. And so that is the reason why I'm interested, particularly in serving this city. I want to point to the fact that we have an actually entitled project at the corner of University and Central that has been entitled for several years that includes a 1,400 square foot grocer, a space for a grocery store. The problem is that we don't approach it with entrepreneurial thinking. And since I am an entrepreneur as well, I need to let you know that there are options such as yummy.com, which would work off a delivery model. And so we need to be thinking beyond Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and instead taking an entrepreneurial approach to actually harness the power of our citizens themselves rather than focusing on density, because at the end of the day, that is a calling card for displacement. And we need markets for our existing residents, not the new residents that will be coming to our city. That's called gentrification.
The election is coming. How would you assist in finding a large location for residents to come and drop off ballots and vote?
Again, it shocks me that our existing officials are unaware that the university is ready, willing, and able to participate in this very process. The university within my district, University of California, Cal State University, Dominguez Hills, has a 7-day voting center that will be opening for the entire period. They are engaging in all of the social distancing protocols, and they were a voting center for the primary. And so again, if you're looking for a large location to actually turn in your votes and turn them in a socially distant way, there's no further place, especially within my district, than right at California State University, Dominguez Hills, and Extended Ed 1213. And hopefully you'll be seeing additional information about that on my page. Thank you.
So this is a governance question. It says some of Carson City Council members are notoriously known for alliances, infighting, negativity, bullying, and other things. What will you do to rectify that image and restore dignity to local governance in our city?
I'm very disturbed by the lack of decorum that I witness on council. Meetings and debate look more like school children and less like elected officials. The first piece of legislation that I would propose as a councilman would be a sunshine ordinance. As many cities in the San Francisco Bay Area have adopted. This ordinance would supplement the Brown Act and ensure greater transparency of our elected officials of city business, and would include limits on endless debate during meetings, something that escapes the current Carson Municipal Code. Thank you for the question.
Okay, well, sadly, we've come to the end of our questions and we have to start wrapping it up with your closing 2-minute remarks.
In closing, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you about my candidacy. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the web under Thomas 4 Council. We also have the Government Sunshine Project on YouTube, new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. My candidacy stands in direct contrast to the politics as usual in Carson. I'm committed to truthful reporting. I'm interested in discussing the important ideas necessary to move the great city of Carson forward. My campaign will not engage in negative campaigning of any kind. To quote Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. I believe in truth and the strength of my ideas and ideals. My hashtag is conviction over ambition. My website, Thomas for Council, with my full platform and ideas of how we move Carson forward, is operational. I believe in respecting the voters and arming them with truthful information. Once armed with the truth, the voters can see the difference between the relational leadership of which I stand for and contrast that with the transactional leadership our community has endured for years. Please note that my candidacy is more than platitudes. It's built around a clear action plan for how we take these ideals into action. The Bible says faith without works is dead. Please allow me the opportunity to share this vision and action plan over the coming weeks. Allow me to end this message with an adaptation of a classic of a great soul group from my childhood, The Emotions. If you see anything or hear anything about me or my campaign, don't ask my neighbors. Come to me. You can reach me at 310-623-2989 directly. Hashtag Thomas for Council, hashtag conviction over ambition. Thank you for your time. The Government's Sunshine Project is brought to you by Charles Thomas for Carson City Council 2020. I'm Charles Thomas, and I approve of this message.